Hello everyone, I am Anshika Agrawal. Today I am going to discuss on the topic ADR, that is Alternative Dispute Resolution. So whenever I listen to this word, some things which came to my mind are out of court settlement, compromise, negotiation, third party intervention, time saving, cost effective, easy process, speedy dispute, and the list goes on. So basically, ADR is defined as a procedure for settling disputes between parties by means other than litigation such as arbitration, mediation, conciliation, and negotiation. Further, the main objectives of ADR are: ADR covers a broad spectrum of structured processes. It includes mediation and conciliation, but doesn't include litigation, though it may be integrated with litigation. ADR involves assistance of a neutral third party which empowers parties to resolve their own disputes. Parties may use arbitration, mediation, and other forms of dispute resolution to settle their disputes without proceeding through the trial process. ADR plays a crucial role in dealing with the issue of pendency of cases in courts. It provides various techniques to courts which are reliable and can assist them in reducing their burden due to enormous number of unsolved cases. Article 14 and 21 of our Indian Constitution, which provides for equality before law and right to life and personal liberty, respectively, has laid the foundation of ADR. The main objective of this mechanism is to maintain integrity and ensure socio-economic and political justice in the community as a whole, as the preamble of the Constitution intends. The alternative dispute resolution mechanism aims to secure justice and provide for legal aid without any cost as stated in Article 39A of the Constitution of India as Director Principle of State Policy, called as DPSP. It is like a meeting which can be occur anywhere, like in a business room or in a five-star hotel, office, etc. It is like a sitting in conference. It is not a court, nor it is open. Rather, it is very confidential. Compared to the proceedings that take place in the courts, this mechanism is very costly. It takes less time and is less complex. Here, the parties to the dispute have the opportunity to put forth their views and discuss upon their contentions in the absence of any sort of apprehension of disclosing these facts before any court. Parties feel that their disputes is resolved and the relationship is reinstated, that too with the belief that there is no losing, no winning. ADR provides for a way to ensure a fair and viable alternative to our conventional judicial system and is also a fast-track system of conferencing justice. There are separate hearings in the chamber, judicial settlement, conferences between the parties, settlement somewhere outside, and no pressure is put on the parties. Article 14, 20 and 21 of our Indian Constitution are the foundation of ADR. So, basically, justice is of two kinds, namely fundamental justice and institutional justice. Fundamental justice is granted when one goes into the reason of the happening, that why does it really happen, and institutional justice is granted when judgment is delivered on the basis of evidence, papers, affidavits, etc. In mediation, we get fundamental justice. However, in courts, we get institutional justice. If we get to know the need of the person, then only fundamental justice is achieved through ADR. Therefore, ADR is a practice and Lok Adalat is a process. ADR is a parallel mechanism, though in India, ADR is not so effective like in other countries, namely Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. But things may change in future due to certain amendments. Now the question arises whether ADR to be meant mandatorily by the parties, or it should be voluntary on the part of the parties to opt it, whether to opt it or not? So I will answer this question in two perspectives. One is, if the parties are forced to do anything, they will take ADR as a burden. As culture in India, for ADR is not so common, so before its awareness or ambience will increase, it will eventually comes to an end. They will feel it suffocating and as a wastage of time. So the result will be that culture of mediation will end before it gets flourished. But as per the other perspective, I must say that there are beautiful things on earth, and if we won't taste it, we won't know it. Similarly, if we won't give a try to ADR, we won't know about it and how can it benefit us. In country like India, people won't go for new things if something is not made compulsion. Also, if parties are going to mediation but there are no good arbitrator who are incapable to satisfy clients, so people will resist. Further, just because of neutrals, arbitrators, mediators, people won't stay in ADR if there are no good lawyers present there. It is the duty to bring people to the room and make them stay there. As effective hours with the courts are very less, say 5 hours a day, and if for example 100 cases are to be dealt with for a particular day, so each case would get only 5 to 10 minutes hardly. So court is doing nothing in this regard. When few cases are resolved through ADR, courts can effectively function, and it will also reduce their burden. Article 14 and 21 of the Indian Constitution laid down the foundation of ADR, as in ADR, arbitrator is bound to give equal time to each party. Otherwise, other party can raise the issue. On the other hand, in courts, equal amount of time is not given to all the parties. A word given in ADR can be challenged if process get misused. ADR also ensures socio-economic political justice in the country. Once the party tastes the flavor, they will get used to it. There are various methods of ADR, which are number 1, mediation, second, negotiation, third, conciliation, fourth, arbitration, and last, Lok Adalat. Now I will discuss about various methods of ADR. First one is mediation. So, when two parties want to resolve a dispute with the help of the third person who is unbiased and impartial through communication, which is amicable, is called mediation. Mediation is from psychology, brain, body language. Mediator is a person appointed for mediation who acts as a facilitator. There can be two mediators. Mediators need to understand the reason of parties' conflicts. He should convey this to parties that he knows the reason. To deal with the emotions of parties through different framework by a lot of communication, body language is very difficult task. As per section 12 of Commercial Dispute Act, parties to dispute should go for mediation first rather than litigation. But parties are of opinion that where does voluntariness exist, as it should be the discretion of parties. So, to answer this question, this going to process is mandatory, but to do that or not is upon parties. Mediator should not be evaluative to the parties. If one party doesn't come, no court can compel them. Parties are encouraged to actively participate in the process of mediation. Mediators will not give legal advice, rather facilitate the session, as they are called the facilitator. Their main focus lies in the interest of parties. He has to go beyond the position to know the reason of conflicts. He has to gain confidence of other parties. Mediation is an informal process where process is not binding on parties, but outcome is definitely binding. It is the duty of the mediator to maintain confidentiality between the parties. Mediation is a negotiation technique. Now, second mode is negotiation. Negotiation is a bargaining process between the parties where both seek to reach an agreement that settles a matter of mutual concern or resolves a conflict. It is a communication between two parties where one party is making a dialogue to other party to agree on his terms. Features of negotiation are: first, existence of two parties; second, existence of dispute; third, attempt to reach a mutual agreement; fourth, communication is the key of negotiation. It is a verbal process which is less expensive and less complicated. It is, of course, a voluntary process which resolves conflicts. It is a private process having wide-ranging solutions. It is non-binding process as parties have control over the outcome. In negotiation, we need parallel thinking, genuine exploration of subject, ideas and statements alongside each other where everyone is focused on the same direction, which helps parties to resolve the disputes. It is a party diagramming. Good negotiation only exists when interest is shown in the parties, that is, creating interest in substance, satisfying respective interests of the parties. Approach should be collaborative practice where there is common or mutual interest, having win-win situation. Process of negotiation involves first, preparing and planning; second, defining general rules; third, clarification and justification; fourth, bargaining and problem solving; fifth, closure and implementation. So, the third method is conciliation. Conciliation is virtually a non-formal procedure in which a neutral third party called the conciliator assists the disputant parties to reach a settlement of their differences or dispute. In USA, the process of conciliation is called mediation. Conciliation is same as mediation. It is a binding process covered by Arbitration Act, that is, it is backed by law. Conciliator participates very actively. He can guide, tell the interest of both the parties, but this is not allowed in case of mediation. Mediation is not backed by law. Conciliation is more party-centered. Involvement of third neutral party is more in conciliation. So, to reduce this interference of third person, mediation law comes. As parties may have a doubt that conciliator is good to one party and not to the other, but this can't be in the case of mediation. Confidentiality is maintained here. Lawyers act as a coach or advisor. It is more or less a flexible process. Conciliation is a part and parcel of Arbitration Act. So guys, can you tell me some more minute differences between conciliation and mediation, as they more or less are same? Next method is arbitration. It is a formal process wherein the dispute between the parties goes through a process to achieve an amicable resolution by an impartial third party known as arbitrator without recourse to litigation. Such a decision taken by an arbitrator is binding on both the parties. Disputes where parties can decide among themselves. Arbitration deals with commercial disputes. It is done by mutual consent of parties and is contractual in nature. Arbitrator is a neutral, independent, impartial third person. It is a speedy trial which is less expensive, but sometimes become expensive. If the claim amount is less, it is cost effective. Laws of various countries can be taken into consideration. Laws of various countries can be taken into consideration for arbitration. It is speedy trial. Also, neutrals in arbitration should always be in odd number so that majority can prevail, that is unbiasedness. It is a flexible process which is backed by Indian Arbitration Act. Verdict or judgment is called arbitral award, which is binding on the parties. Also claims, counterclaims, evidence, documents, written pleadings, etc. to be taken into consideration for proceedings. In areas where there are specific codes or acts for them like labor, insolvency, etc., so one can't go for arbitration. There is transparency between the parties, so question of confidentiality doesn't arise. However, confidentiality is kept from public. That's why it is different from courts, where everything is public. Parties are bound to disclose every information and facts. Arbitrator is an adjudicator, as he has to pass an award that is binding and cannot go beyond the line. He will only refer to the documents provided to him. Decision is binding in nature as it is conducted by Arbitration and Conciliation Act, and provisions are binding on the parties. Parties consist of claimant and respondent. The proceedings cannot be terminated without passing an award even when one party doesn't join. It involves legal technique. Arbitration is always held between two contracting parties who have entered into an agreement. Here, role of advocate is of complete advocacy. Arbitrator don't deal with the emotions of people. The cases get resolved in maximum time of 12 months, but if parties desire, it can be extended for next 6 months and more with the permission of courts. So the last one is Lok Adalat. Lok Adalat is one of the alternative dispute redressal mechanism. It is a forum where disputes or cases pending in the court of law or at pre-litigation stage are settled or compromised amicably. Lok Adalats have been given statutory status under the Legal Service Authorities Act 1987. The Lok Adalat will have similar powers of a civil court and is governed under the Code of Civil Procedure. It has the power to summon and enforce the attendance of a witness. It has power to receive evidence regarding a particular case. The Lok Adalat has the power to follow its own procedure for determining any dispute. It is basically for the people who can't afford the other modes of alternative dispute resolution. So, in this busy life, the need for ADR has increased tremendously and more people are going towards it. The need is to get aware of these modes of resolving disputes. So, guys, what do you think? Is ADR a good mechanism for resolving disputes and lowering the burden of comments, the burden of courts? Do reply. Thank you.